Hi, my name is Kristen. Welcome to my channel. Here I like to do cultural commentary through the lens of pop culture. Today I'm going to be talking about Baby It's Cold Outside and whether some of the recent arguments that the song is inappropriate or about somebody manipulating somebody else hold any truth to them. So yeah, let's just get started. So Baby It's Cold Outside is one of the most popular Christmas songs that actually has nothing to do with Christmas. It really is about somebody saying, hey, it was a nice time, but I need to go home. And somebody else saying, oh, but it's cold outside, you should stay, have another drink. And it's a conversational song going back and forth about that. And so many people point to the fact that in the song, the woman singer says, hey, what's in this drink? Hey, I need to go home. What are people going to think? I should probably get out of here. In response to all of that, the man singer of the song tries to pour her another drink, and he tells her, it's too cold outside, you should stay, and he doesn't want to order her a cab or give her a coat so that she can leave, and he's kind of trying to get her to stay longer. And so a lot of people point to this behavior and say it's kind of coercive or manipulative and indicative of him trying to, get her inebriated so he can take advantage of her, insult her, or rape her. Or at the very least, just coerce her into sleeping with him. And so for that reason, a lot of people don't really super like the song, and they don't really feel like it's appropriate to play anymore. And so a lot of radio stations don't play it, a lot of malls don't play it, a lot of stores won't play it either. And so obviously, anytime this kind of thing happens, some people get a little up in arms, and they get kind of protective of stuff that they like, and they feel kind of defensive. They're like, well, this is a classic Christmas song, what's your problem? You're just trying to ruin everything. This is part of the war on Christmas. And, I don't really agree with that, but some of their defenses make sense depending on how you want to look at the song. So let's talk about those. Defenders of the song will say that, one, it's a classic Christmas song that we should play, and two, they will say you should look at the song in the original cultural context to understand what it's about and to see that it's really not about. So they will say that in the 1940s and 1950s, a woman who spent the night with her date would be seen as impure or, a floozy or, not being a stand-up woman. It would be judged by society. And that's why in the song, the woman, her reasons for wanting to leave are things like my neighbors, my parents, my mom, my brother, my dad. It's all other people what they would think if she were to stay longer, as opposed to her saying, I would like to leave, I'm not having a good time. So who's right? Is the song about somebody trying to coerce somebody into sleeping with them, or worse, use alcohol to get them inebriated and then get them to sleep with them? Or is the song about a woman who would like to stay, but is being pressured by society not to stay, and who's trying to grapple with that decision? From that perspective, is it a feminist song that talks about the plight of women in society? Well, in my opinion, neither. I don't think that the song Baby It's Cold Outside is a feminist critique of the societal pressures of women and expectations on them for certain types of behavior. And I also don't think it's a song about somebody trying to coerce someone into sleeping with them either. I think that both of these interpretations are rooted in our modern cultural context. Even if one of them is trying to look through a different lens, it's still looking through a modern lens, in my opinion. So to really understand what this song was originally about, you have to know a little bit more about it. So the song was originally written in 1944 by Frank Laufer for him and his wife to sing at the end of parties. They would perform it together as a duet, as a way to signal to everybody that it's time to go home now. And the song was very popular in their social circle, and so they would be invited to a lot of other parties and asked to perform that song at the end of the party as well, again to signal that it's time for the party to end, it's time to leave. Now, the song first appeared in the public when it was in the movie Neptune's Daughter in 1949. It was sang as a duet by two different couples in the movie. The movie is about two sisters and their love lives. They each meet two men in the movie and end up marrying them. And this song is sang during a date night that both of them are on individually with each of their two dates. And the song is sang from the perspective of, in both situations, the date has been going well, and they both sort of want to keep hanging out, but they also know that it's getting late and they probably need to call it a night. And so the song is kind of them going back and forth and kind of push and pull, talking about like, should I go? Or, should we have another drink? Oh, it's so cold outside. One of the couples sang it with like the two roles being how you expect them to be, with the woman saying, I should go, and the man saying, but baby, it's cold outside. And then the other couple sang it with the man saying, I should go, and the woman saying, baby, it's cold outside. Fun fact, a different Frank Lover song was actually supposed to be sung in that part of the movie. It was actually going to be a song called Boat Ride to China, which basically talked about wanting to get somebody on a long boat ride to China and, spend a lot of time with them on the boat and all that kind of stuff. It was a love song. But the movie had to change up a little bit because the Hollywood censors, who enforced the Hays Code at the time, basically said, you can't sing that song in there. That when you say the word getcha, that is basically saying the F word. Basically, they were saying, like, you can't sing a song about wanting to with somebody, and that's what that song was about. In fact, the author of the song, Frank Lover, confirmed that that's what that song was about. So instead, they put in the song, Baby It's Cold Outside, because that song was not about sleeping with somebody. It was about wanting to keep spending time together, even though it was time to call it a night. So the reason I'm telling you all of this is to say that if you're looking at the original cultural context of the song, it was about, again, wanting to keep hanging out and knowing that you probably need to call it a night soon. So if we really want to look at this song kind of through the lens of the creator and the time, we can understand it to just be a nice song about two people having a nice time. So none of the interpretations I mentioned in this video are like right or wrong. They're both valid in their own ways. It's just that if you're going to make an argument for an interpretation, you need to make sure your argument makes sense. So if you're going to push the interpretation that this song can be read as a feminist critique of societal expectations on women, don't try to say it's because of societal expectations of the 1940s and 50s, because that's not what the song was about. And if you're going to say the song is about, that's fine. Just don't try to say that the song was originally about that, because it wasn't. You can read it as being about that, because given the Me Too movement and given some of the lyrics in the song, it really can sound like that. But just make sure your argument actually makes sense. And then there's also the question of, should this song be played in public? Should we retire this song? Should we stop trying to make Baby It's Cold Outside be a modern song? And I think that, it really depends. I think that it makes sense for radio stations, stores and malls, movie theaters to stop playing it just because you're trying to create a warm, welcoming, inviting atmosphere for everybody who's shopping with you. And you can't do that if you're playing a song that you know good and well some people think is about. Like, it's just not going to work for the vibe you're trying to make. Regardless of what you personally think the song is about, you have to recognize that other people don't see it necessarily the same way that you do. However, in smaller gatherings, like if you're hanging out with your friends or you're having a party and you know the people who are around you and people can come to you and say, hey, this song makes me uncomfortable, then I think you should go ahead and play it if you really want to, because someone can always just tell you if they would rather not listen to it. I hope you enjoyed this short little analysis of Baby It's Cold Outside. I wanted to do something a little bit Christmassy since the holiday is coming up. If you celebrate Christmas, Merry Christmas. If you don't, happy holidays in general, Happy New Year, and I hope you have a wonderful day. Thank you if you got this far in the video. Please feel free to comment, like, and subscribe, and yeah, bye!